splash pad in there.
Busy? Everything going okay?
Oh, yeah.
We get river all the time.
Work
And
keeps
it's-
me.
They're the ones that use it the most.
Where do you work at?
So I
and
work,
it's sucks.
I work for a company called
Splash
Which one?
BCN
pool, and it's open
Sourcing.
as
Oh,
a
Mac.
And what they do is
Mac.
they basically contract us out
I got
to
them
businesses.
all.
So I'm a
months.
contractor
Mac.
for
That would allow
Just,
you
do me a favor.
Oh,
just
okay.
first.
Yeah, so and I handle
You
like.
got a call?
Okay.
Oh, did you? Hopefully a good one.
Yeah, it was.
But I handle like their employees, all their benefits and stuff. So I do that and we have
HOLZ.
Yeah, I
opening
got
mail.
Yeah, I got a call
What's that?
today.
I said I like the hairdo.
It was a lady changing my doctor.
Because I was being
Oh,
lazy.
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, and I was kind of shocked because I didn't even know I had an appointment. And I just said, what's going on, you know, and I thought, you know, my labs were good the last time, unless they did something I didn't know. And then they said, oh, no, we just need to change your deal with Dr. Mitchell. And I said, well, whatever you need to tell me, let's go for it. So they did.
You know, cup cider. And he said, okay, but hold it.
Yeah, and you know, I'm still trying to get in,
And finally,
you know, that patient portal login system.
my birth master,
And I'm still having to go through the Cerner, to relate the Cerner to get my lab results.
So do you,
OLSIDER.
is your doctor at, one of the Olathe facilities? Yeah, so
He's in the
there's,
Olathe hospital.
Especially when people come
yeah,
up
so
and
we
wanna talk
haven't
about
fully
things.
like
Trying to
got
scribble
all
down
of
your
that
name real
and
fast.
everything because we know like,
Well, he said they went to a new.
I always tell people,
Almost
someone
nothing.
will.
yeah, so there's slowly
This is
moving
my
slow,
name.
or so a lot of
That's
times
what
like,
we can sign it. I'm sorry, I
so
get
like my boyfriend's parents are getting able to
I use AIM
and they
sometimes
got
to
a
look
bill.
at.
Yeah.
But sometimes I.
Fire
Doctor.
Oh,
but
tell you.
they
spring
don't
Sorry.
line is mostly in line with the
pay
pool.
plus
It's like,
system.
okay, so we build it.
And a lot of
Sure,
those
whatever's
doctors
over the lanes
that
are in
are
line with the
affiliated
lanes.
aren't actually employed by us, they're contractors. A lot of times they'll bill
That's one of the
separately,
oddities
Oh.
about SOX.
but depending on like how your benefits are, like if your
I don't
health
do
insurance
backstroke because the
affect
triathlon
you.
stuff.
It affects like our employees, because our
So,
employees, if they see
and then,
someone
where's
through the
that?
health system, they get a cheaper rate than like going outside the health system.
Oh,
So when they see one of these doctors, they're being charged health system rate for the facility, but then like in-network.
like out of network or in network.
Yeah, it gets really like confusing and dicey with people, but yeah, they haven't fully like integrated all of that stuff. And then they just got Liberty Hospital.
Oh.
So now we're integrating that, and we haven't even fully figured out the Olathe. And I'm like, you guys are doing way too much. But
But I imagine that keeps you very active.
yeah, because we have open enrollment is next month, so we gotta
No,
enroll all the
we'll do it.
benefits. again.
Because this year is not, nobody likes Labor Day.
We have 20,000 employees.
I mean, actually, I would
Keeps
say.
you very, very busy.
They're not.
So
The call for a ribbon.
it's fun though. I enjoy it.
Well, good. You know, I've always, when I was working, I'm retired now, but I sure enjoyed my job too. When you have a job you enjoy, you just really enjoy it. You don't mind going to work.
It makes it a lot better. And I work from home, so
Oh,
Thursdays are the only day that I work in office. Yeah, because we have a lot of like mail paperwork that we have to
That way if you
so
see
it's
that
kind of really
happening,
and all that.
Can we scoot chairs?
But
you can do whatever you
it's
want with the chairs.
good.
That's
I
fine.
basically just send a bunch
They're not-
of
they're not
emails all day.
Velcro.
Respond to
well,
people.
that keeps you busy.
Yeah, like I said, when you got 20,000 employees,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
it's a lot of emails that come in.
I will tell you, I'm not gonna exceed.
Courtney, so what's your
Glad you're here, Joe.
Italy.
I've been getting a lot of complaints,
Days in
Joe.
Rome, then we the train down to.
Yeah, I talked with Walter.
A
Naples,
lot of unhappy
the
people.
car,
Yeah, I
spent
talked with
4
Walter.
days in Sorrento
I
and
know the water line, they just.
then on to
This would be paid.
Tuscany
Like the ones who
for
has it.
3 days in Tuscany and Florence,
Should
and
go,
then
yeah.
finished in Milan with a for the,
Well,
tours.
I think we need to,
Wow, so how long have you gone?
we need to
Just
do
over 2 weeks.
something that if they're not working,
Did you want me to keep this?
Yeah, we were
let's
just.
get those signs covered up. Because the measurement
It's bad,
between the
because we don't
45
have-
at the top of the hill
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this
with 2
side
weeks, we figured we could.
and the 35 mile an hour signs, 38 feet.
Simpler tour.
Yeah.
Now, car going 45, topping the hill,
Mostly in
and then
the
hitting
70s.
35, within 38
I
feet
mean,
now,
we'll get some
which
rain, but, I mean, we'll
the
also
manual
go
for
far
the
less
state
south.
is 100 some feet long between
You guys are
that
driving
type
over
of
there?
speed difference.
We'll
That's
be
10 mile
driving
an hour.
Take a look at that. They have
from
two
Naples to
signs,
Sorrento and then out to
35
Tuscany.
Okay, I'll give you a warning. It's a sport over there driving.
Well, then they
It
got
is
25
bad.
miles an hour, but
I
it's an orange.
Lived there for 3 years. It's
Still,
bad.
we
So
need to talk to
just
our
a fair
law
warning.
enforcement people.
Oh, yeah.
I told
Tell
my
them to be
mom's friend because they
lenient
spent a
there,
couple
or
weeks
we
and they were
need to
driving,
talk to
and
those
she's like, "Oh, I've been
construction
driving
people.
for
They're
like
not
40
gonna
years."
work,
I'm
cover
fine.
the damn
She
signs
came back
up
and she's like, "You were
with
not
a
kidding."
piece of
It's a whole
black
different
trash
world.
can.
Oh, yeah.
Until they're working,
You
we
gotta
put
pay.
them back
You
in
didn't really
service.
like.
And, instead of doing
No,
that, we need
so
to
I
do
was in
something, 'cause
Sicily.
there's been a lot of unhappy
But I
people.
went
Yeah.
all over, and living is a lot different than visiting.
So they cut
But you just get more into the culture and really see how it is. There were some good aspects to it, like $30 to fly to another country, so.
Like I say,
But it's, that's a lot different than going on vacation.
Why didn't they? Because they were.
Well, as long as it's not any longer, it's getting to total ridiculous that it's taking this long.
New York, San
Well,
Francisco.
You know, I was talking to Patrick about it, that maybe we need to shut it down, shut the right of way down, because they were past their date now, right?
10 minutes
Or they
from
passed
the
their
beach, and the
date.
beach is
What was their
very
date? I know that. But we can still shut it down, tell them to take all their shit away, and then we'll take over the job, the city will take over the job.
And then you get the driving.
Yeah, I mean, we
This
could do
is
that.
big
But see,
city,
we didn't
because I've
talk
been,
about it.
you go to.
Yes, we would, but then we can charge all that against
It's
the
really
company
not
if
a
they
big
want
city.
to.
So I live in a town called Bermuda.
Of course,
It's
we'll
right
have
on
a
the
little
edge
bit
of
of a legal
It
battle,
was a
but I
smaller
think
town.
I'm willing
They
to
don't
do
like
that. I'm really getting really upset about it.
Basically,
I said, don't do that. You
and
should be-
I had
even
20
though like
calls
having
last week.
a
Now,
base
that's way
there
too many
not
for my
onto their
household.
property is easy for them,
No, I agree.
they don't. like us.
We'll be within a while.
And even like when I went to like the mainland, they were still
Okay, thank you, Joe.
kind of rude to us, so.
And see if they can cover that up if they're not gonna be
I don't
there.
wanna jinx it.
Cover it.
Yeah, we'll talk to them about that.
Or at least, spread,
This
make it
conference will
further
now be
out.
recorded.
Yeah.
REID.
Hey, Joe, I have a question for you afterwards. All right, it is 7 o'clock. Call the September 19th DeSoto City Council meeting to order. We'll start with roll call.
Tripp,
Here.
Daniels,
Here.
Hanamichael, McMillan,
Here,
Lane.
Here.
Mayor, it appears Councilman Hanamichael is
All
absent.
right. I would invite you all to please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item tonight is a proclamation declaring Constitution Week 2024. Whereas our founding fathers, in order to secure the blessings of liberty for themselves and their posterity, did ordain and establish a Constitution for the United States of America, and whereas it is of the greatest importance that all citizens fully understand the provisions and principles contained in the Constitution in order to support, preserve, and defend it, and whereas the 233 37th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution provides a historic opportunity for all Americans to realize the achievements of the framers of the Constitution and the rights, privileges, and responsibilities it affords. And whereas the independence guaranteed to American citizens should be celebrated by appropriate ceremonies and activities during Constitution Week, September 17th through the 23rd, 2024, as proclaimed by the President of the United States of America. Now, therefore, I, Rick Walker, Mayor of the City of DeSoto and the State of Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd, 2024 as Constitution Week in the City of DeSoto. And I urge all citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of our Constitution had in 1787 by celebrating the freedoms guaranteed to us through the United States Constitution. Thank you, ladies, for bringing that forward.
Thank you.
All right, our next item is a public hearing regarding a revenue neutral rate relative to the budget. Just as a precursor to the hearing, we don't actually exceed the revenue neutral rate, but we have called the hearing, so I will open, that was really, I will open the hearing, and anyone who wishes to address the council regarding the revenue neutral rate, please come forward, state your name and address. And the hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to address the council regarding the revenue neutral rate? All right, I'm not seeing any, so I'm going to close the public hearing, and we will take the item up in the regular agenda. Our next item is a public hearing regarding the 2025 municipal budget. The budget will be formally adopted later in the agenda. This budget we've all seen, worked on, and has a 6 mil reduction in our mill rate. And but with that, I will now officially open the 2025 municipal budget hearing. Anyone who wishes to address the council regarding the 2025 municipal budget, please come to the podium, state your name and address. All right, I'm not seeing anybody, so I'm going to close that public hearing on the municipal budget, and let's take that up in our regular agenda later on. Next item tonight is our consent agenda. Tonight on the consent agenda, we have approval of the minutes from the September 5th City Council meeting, approval of pay ordinance number 981, approve a deed of dedication from Merck to the city for a right-of-way, the parade permit for the DHS Homecoming Parade, a temporary use permit for Force of Nature, a temporary use permit for a downtown event on 9/14/24, and approve Resolution 2050 allowing the consumption of alcohol in the downtown district. Is there any item anyone would wish to remove for further consideration? Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the motion? Roll call, please.
Tripp,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
McMoran,
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, our next item is call to public. Members of the public are welcome to use this time to comment about any matter relating to city business that is not on tonight's agenda. The comments that are discussed under call to public may or may not be acted on by the council during the meeting. There is a 4-minute time limit. Does anyone wish to address the council under call to public? All right, I'm not seeing any, so we will move on in our agenda. Item 3 is old business, and we don't have any. So we'll go to item 4A, adopt a 2025 municipal budget. Brandon, you want to lead this off?
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
Do 2 things here, just give me 1 second. All right. So as Mike had mentioned at the last meeting, tonight we're officially adopting the 2025 budget, marking the end of a 6-month work period for council and staff. At the previous meeting, Mike kind of walked you through the details of the budget, but some key takeaways are that while property values increased roughly 7%, the city managed to lower the mill levy by about 1/3 while expanding services. This means that the average DeSoto homeowner will pay about $180 less in real dollars to the city of DeSoto than they did in 2020. This is possible due to increased revenue streams such as sales tax. The 2025 budget includes several service improvements, such as a $1 million road maintenance program, up from $750,000 in 2024, a transfer of $2 million in cash to the capital improvement plan, and additionally, it added a new deputy for law enforcement in the city. We're also adding new positions in building maintenance, water billing, procurement and IT, and an additional building inspector. For utilities, we're planning a 0% increase in water rates and a modest 2.5% increase in sewer rates for 2025. In addition, we're bringing online 2 new water treatment facilities in 2025. But most importantly, the budget is revenue neutral. This budget represents 6 months of work, and Mike and Bonnie, who were the main contributors, deserve most of the credit. We also like to thank department heads for their work and patience as we adopted the new budgeting software. So with that, Mayor, I'll turn it over if there are any questions. Patrick has prepared an ordinance as well to adopt the budget.
All right. So I would invite council to offer any questions or comments they'd like to regarding the budget.
I'll just say it's great to be in the unique position of being able to increase services to our residents while decreasing not only in mill levy but also in real dollars the amount that they will pay to the city. And really thankful for all the work that the staff has put in, not only to make the budget possible but also to implement a new budgeting software preparing us for the future. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, I just echo that. It's very gratifying to be in that position that we have the ability to increase services and reduce our tax burden on the folks that live here. And I'm confident this is just the first that we'll be able to continue, perhaps not to this level, but the future budgets, I'm confident will be pleasant discussions, that we have some good things to come. So with that, if no one else has any comment to offer, it would be the time to adopt the resolution, is that right?
The ordinance.
Or the ordinance, I'm sorry.
So I'll make a motion, we adopt ordinance number 2628, adopting the 2025 budget.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the motion? Roll call, please.
Tripp,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Next item on the agenda is to consider a text amendment for a lot size in R2 and R3 zoning districts. Brad?
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. I do apologize. I didn't get my staff report uploaded as I was supposed to, so the information that is now in the packet is really the backfill of information. I mean, Patrick does have the ordinance as the Planning Commission has recommended to the council. But I did want to just take the time to go through the staff report and give you some of the background information that was discussed at the Planning Commission and why they're recommending what they are. We had a couple developers come to the city and ask about lot widths, narrowing our lot width standards. Right now, you can have a 60-foot wide lot for single-family homes in the R3 district. As you know, in our zoning code, if in multifamily, you can do duplex and single-family. So you can step down, but typically our minimum lot width is 65 feet. This is due to increasing costs and the ability to potentially get more housing into a denser area, which is something that we really want to do. It saves space. It allows for, once again, less cost, less utility maintenance for city crews over the course of time. So with that discussion, the Planning Commission looked at changing the R2 district and the R3 multifamily district to 50-foot wide lots from 65 down to 50. There's some concern about just having row after row after row of the same house. And I did talk to several developers, and also there's information in the packet that show in Gardner where they actually are building these houses with 50-foot wide width. And when I went to these neighborhoods, you really can't tell much of a difference. The additional foot reduction doesn't change much. It does also, does create a smaller footprint for the yard, but it seems the trend in housing is to spend more time in your home versus the outdoor activities. And I think part of that is because of the process that we went through with COVID. But you can see in the pictures that also the homes themselves have different features and fronts. There isn't a whole repetitive, just row house after row house of the same style and type of frontage. So the Planning Commission chose not to include any architectural standards to the ordinance and simply just wanted to change or reduce the size of the R2 district and be consistent with the R3 district. So it's a 50-foot wide minimum lot for single-family homes in R2 and R3. And then if you have a duplex in R2 or R3, it's a 60-foot wide lot. So with that, I'll stand for any questions you may have, but Patrick's ordinance has it's really fairly simple changes that ultimately took 2 meetings of comments from the Planning Commission and a public hearing. And like I said, I'll stand for any questions you may have.
So I think this also brought us in line with what the rest of the development community or the communities in Johnson County are doing. You mentioned Gardner. Some other cities have also adopted this narrower or have a narrower lot width similar to this.
Yeah, I looked at Lenex's code pretty extensively. They have a 50-foot wide lot width, and I sort of try to focus my efforts when I look at other communities on basically the districts, Gardner, Spring Hill, DeSoto, Lenexa, or Shawnee sometimes, because that's our common border, and then Olathe every once in a while. But those are the communities I typically look at.
But it tends to be the trend in the building industry because the land obviously is one of the key costs in housing costs. And
yeah, and in the information that's in the packet that I didn't get uploaded in time does show there's a exhibit that shows on a 500-foot wide or a 500-foot long cul-de-sac. It's the next one right there. You can get 5 additional lots.
so for the same investment in street and land and utilities, basically you've got 5 additional housing sites.
That is correct.
So, any questions from council?
And this is only looking at R2 and R3. The other areas of zoning, this won't, change anything where we've got the larger lots, the, kind of that acre type home in town and so forth.
No, those are still allowed, and this does not affect those in any way.
And it would just be, and there, those are of course different zoning areas than what we're looking at.
Yeah, and these are also this is directed at new growth, new development that's part of our sanitary sewer system, things like that. Parts of town that are undeveloped. The large lots that we have now have been in DeSoto for quite a while, and that's not the trend in the development community at all, is to develop large single lot homes.
Well, and even if zoned that, if they're on septic, they're gonna need 1.1 acres.
Correct, yes, they need to be a minimum.
Pretty much negate the 50-foot.
Absolutely.
Unless you're talking a super piano key.
Yeah, precisely.
Any other discussion? If not, I think we're ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion, we adopt ordinance number 2629, adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation to reduce minimum lot sizes in the R2 residential medium density and the R3 multifamily dwelling districts.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Walker,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Tripp,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Thank you, Brad. Item C, consider ordinance 2630, authorizing issuance of $90 million in IRBs for Flint Commerce Center.
Yes, council, you recall back in 2022, you passed a resolution of intent granting the tax abatement and issuance of the IRBs that are now formalized in this ordinance. So this is the final step by the city to authorize those bonds to be issued. Again, this is not, the city's not financing it. This is the developer's money. But you are granting a tax abatement. Roughly, it equates to about 80%. The developer, back when we were negotiating this, the developer wanted set payments instead of the percentage, because at that time it was a speculative building they were building. So recommend approval of ordinance 2630.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Patrick on this?
Couple quick questions. Yearly tax payments to the city, is that the 20%, or is that gonna be 20% of?
No, this is what they will pay.
That is the 20%,
Yeah.
so after 10 years, that goes times 5?
Well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly, so that's why I was wanting to just make clarification, based looking at the notes, it's not 20% of that number is
The payment.
the 20%.
Yeah.
And is that just on the building that's built currently, or is that going past that to anything else that might be built on there?
No, just the building.
So the current building that's
Yeah.
there, so any additional buildings would be more on top of this?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, like I said, those are things that
Yeah.
I've had understanding of, but also bring it to clarity that we're talking even with the abatement, there's substantial, that doesn't impact the school district because there's no students going on those properties either.
Right.
This does make them the highest taxpayer in the city with these payments, so.
Any other comments or questions? Good points, Rob. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2630 for issuance of and tax abatement on $90 million in industrial revenue bonds for PPP Logistics LLC building at Flint Commerce Center.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
McMorran,
Yes.
Daniels,
Yes.
Tripp,
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. No executive session tonight, right?
Correct.
All right, advisory reports. Patrick?
Nothing for me.
All right.
Thank you.
Brad?
Just, Mayor, as you know, we have a rezoning on the 24th. We're working on those staff reports right now. I'm sure you've seen some information on in and around DeSoto, but we're trying to keep up with all the resident requests, so meeting will go as smooth as possible, so.
All right, thank you. Joe?
Good evening. Good to be back home. So probably just two updates. Many of you have probably seen that tomorrow should have been the last day for work on K10 eastbound. That's been pushed back another month, so their completion date is now September or October 20th for that work to be done. So hopefully it's a smaller section, so hopefully they'll accomplish that here within the next 25, 30 days and relieve our pain going eastbound on K10. The other thing is, there's been some talk about the work at 83rd and Gardner Road. So they finally completed the water line. They put down their cemented treated base. Should be paving next week, and we're hoping that the next 3 weeks that all work will be done. We'll also be working with the contractor to make sure that he stays busy out there and meets that deadline so that we can get the road back open to traffic and take down all the barricades and the signs. So that's all I got for right now.
All right. Yeah, I know we've got, Danny's mentioned, he's gotten a lot of calls. We've got a lot of folks that have been
Yep.
wondering
When it's going to be done.
progress on that project. So
I guess one of their items, next week we'll be starting on the overlay program with a mill and asphalt overlay. So we've done most of the curb work. And so Superior, who's the general contractor, will be moving in next week to start the mill and the overlay program.
and through Timber Trails, is that?
Yep,
right?
yep. Timber Trails and 83rd and 2 other
Peoria.
streets. Yeah, so that will all start, the paving will start next week.
All right.
Yep.
And Joe, you may or may not know, the car accident that happened earlier this week, did it go over the bridge or did it go over where the bridge doesn't exist on K-10?
I did not know about the crash.
Okay, because if it went over the bridge, the question was, have we gotten any update if there's gonna be repairs needed to it, or if it just went off the embankment down into the.
Okay, I know that there was a wreck a month ago, and that's what happened, they went off. I'm not sure if they were paying attention,
I was
and,
gonna say, there was one this past week that shut down one lane of K-10 from like 7:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon.
yeah,
Was that north or south of Hootamaki?
That was,
Right at Kill Creek, right?
well, it
there.
was east of Lexington before Hootamaki
Okay.
okay,
is where it was.
okay,
So right about where the bridge is.
okay. I've not seen anybody looking at the bridge, so I assume that it did not impact the bridge.
Considering they just redid it, I'd hope we don't have another bridge
Yeah,
for repair.
we've had enough of those for a while.
Yeah. All right.
So, that's all I have.
Thank you, Joe. Brandon?
Just 2 quick things. We have received 2 really qualified applicants for the procurement and IT position. We're gonna interview those either late next week or early the following week. Hopefully try to bring that person on for the 1st of November. And then you may have seen the common consumption signage floating around in the downtown district. The district is open. We're working with Force of Nature to get their application to the state so that someone could actually purchase alcohol in the district and walk around with it. So that should be coming in the next couple weeks, but the district is active. Just give us a little bit of time to get the final details done. But outside of that, I don't have anything else, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
That was the IT position?
Yeah, the IT position, yes.
Ready for council comments. Danny, anything for the group tonight?
No, just like to thank Patrick and Joe for the information on the roads and the Gardner area, and I appreciate that very, very much. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you, sir.
Victoria? All right, thanks. Rob?
Nothing tonight.
Courtney?
Just a reminder that I'm gone next meeting, but I look forward to seeing you all when I get back.
All right,
And I will be here remotely.
thank you. I guess the thing I'll share, interviews for the consultant for the Southwest Growth Area are gonna be next Thursday and Friday, so I would assume by Friday we'll probably have somebody selected, and that project then can move on to that next step. So I think that's all I have.
I know the residents are more than ready to see that study come to fruition.
I might mention too, just on the 95th Street Benefit District, we getting real close to having that put together.
Okay.
It's gonna take some time to get a formal legal description, but everything else is in the works, so we'll have that available to distribute.
Will the petition need the legal description for the actual petition to get started?
Well, we have signature pages for everybody, so they could go ahead and sign, but technically, when it's presented to the council, it will have to have that boundary.
So they can start circulating without the legal description.
Yeah.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Well, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're adjourned.